Welcome to Causing Chaos, the Trouble Show. Part interview, part therapy, part shit show. I'm Emma Barry and we are chatting with troublemakers, risk takers and rule breakers. People with a healthy disregard for the status quo. People who choose a different path. Those who lean into their inner mischief and share the ruckus they are creating. It is my great hope that we ask the risque questions, play some games, drop some inspo on the world, and offer a masterclass in dialing up trouble for good. Let's go. I am obsessed with our guest today, Mandy Brooke, funny girl who is actually really serious. We're going to talk about more about that soon. Author, course creator, podcast queen, Instagram galactic queen, like unbelievable. I wake up every morning to her. Broken Bitches Guide for a Higher Vibe. We are going to be digging into that. We scheduled our pre-catch-up straight after she had her period, and it was the biggest disaster we've ever had. We couldn't string a sentence together between us. I'm seriously hoping that today goes better than that. Welcome, Mandy, from sunny Florida, I believe in your parents' house. We're going to talk about that. My fast friend, what is going on the other coast?
Well, thank God I don't have my period anymore. Like I feel so much freed. I could not string one motherfucking sentence together when we were talking the first time. I couldn't believe it. But yes, everything's going really great over here. Every day is a sunny day in Florida, which sucks for me because I hate being in the sun. And I'm a white bitch. I can't be in the sun very much. But hey, we're living.
So, look, welcome to the show. Broken Bitches. Let's start there because I love the work that you're doing here. So, tell us a little bit about the philosophy of where that's come from. And of course, you're in the process of creating a bunch of resources from books to courses. You talk about it on your podcast. Tell me about it. Broken Bitches. What does that mean?
Broken Bitches Guide is a guide that teaches women and everyone how to transmute their brokenness into power. So I came from a place of being very broken. I just gotten divorced a couple years ago, and I had left my entertainment career in Nashville, living with my parents again, and I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do with my life? I started delivering bread for my best friend's bread company, Dutch Oven Bread Company, shout out. And they have the best bread ever. And I remember just being in their delivery van singing songs and stuff, and and crying and just grieving and being like, what am I going to do with my life? And then I just started revealing myself. My whole life I kept myself in a box. In the entertainment industry, I was always like in meetings, like trying to keep myself in a box. And it wasn't until I was completely a broken bitch that I realized how to manifest my fucking dream life. And from that bread delivery van to, I always cry when I tell the story. But from that bread delivery van, a year later, I was sitting in Monaco at the Grand Prix, at the F1 Grand Prix. And I'm like, I can't believe this. If I can do this, then everyone can. And that's why I created Broken Pitches Guide, because we're all raw, we all go through so much shit, and we grieve and we feel confused and we feel bored and we feel unworthy. But from a place of brokenness, you can transmute that into so much power if you just dig in and not give up. And, you know, a couple months after I was in that delivery van, I went viral for the first time, just singing a stupid song, like in my car, and it resonated with a lot of people. And then I realized, like, wow, the person that I thought I needed to be, fuck that. I'm
Right,
just gonna be exactly who I am.
right.
And that's what Broken Bitches Guide is about.
I love that. Well, look, thanks for being so vulnerable and sharing that turning point for you. I'm sitting here relating. I mean, we have those moments. It might not be a bread delivery van, but we have those moments where we're rock bottom and we're just waiting for that lotus flower to bloom, right? And you and I spoke, and I did actually look it up. So kintsugi, so is the Japanese culture of actually, when you're fixing the vases, but you do it with either gold or silver or platinum. So you build back more beautifully, more wholly.
Mhm.
And it's sort of interesting hearing you finally singing, where you'd sat in all these meetings and you'd been in the industry, you'd been in the environment, right? Nashville, singing, dancing
Mhm.
as long as you can remember, but you weren't letting it out. What do you think was the the trigger for you to find, in your instance, this goal that you've managed to plaster over that brokenness, broken relationship, what am I doing? I'm not living my full self. In fact, I'm spending more energy not being myself than I am just letting it out. What gave you that? What took you over the threshold?
Honestly, I will say meditation did.
Right.
Meditation took me over the threshold. I was so scared to sit with myself and feel everything. And I know that's kind of a boring answer, but when you and that's another thing that I teach in Broken Bitches Guide is meditation. Like, bitch, you don't, it's not like this sunset beach yogi, sand coochie type of like thing. It's a raw experience. It's sitting with yourself, it's witnessing your thoughts. And it's actually kind of metal, like it's it's very raw. And that was the turning point for me. I started realizing my patterns. I started realizing like what I actually wanted in my life. And that was 100% the turning point. Actually, a week after I started meditating and really started getting into myself, that's when I went viral for the first time.
That's amazing. So tell us, from there, you got the springboard. You went, holy shit, here's something that I'm actually good at. This has resonated with a bunch of people. I don't need to know why, but it has. I feel whole. How have you then taken that to keep going? Like, how do you take that feedback, in a comparative culture, and, we're all responding to likes and follows and all the rest of it. How have you used that in a positive way to catapult like your journey, I guess?
I just lean into the reality of life. I
Yeah.
realized that the reason why that first piece of that song went viral, it was called Boob Sweat Swamp Ass.
I
And
can see why it was a hit.
and it was in the middle of summer. I was so fucking hot in my fucking car. And I was like, I got ew, boob sweat, swamp ass, bitch, I need a pool. And it was of the Dua Lipa's song. That was an awful rendition of it. And I realized like the reason why it went viral is because it resonated with so many people. And I'm like, why am I just trying to deliver something that I think people want when I just can deliver what's actually happening in my life? And once I started really leaning into who I was as a person, showing my mom, and I was living at home with my mom, and my life was a mess, and I do still drive a 2007 Toyota Corolla with a dent in the back, and I have to kick in my bumper every fucking day. Like, it was that turning point for me where I was like, I can share all of this and make other people understand themselves. Like by introducing myself to you, maybe I can introduce you to yourself.
I love that. And then what's their journey been? Like I saw your mum on one of your posts, your Insta posts, and you're both losing your shit and whatever. Like what's it been like for them to see you transform? Because they've seen you probably at your highs, they've seen you at your lows, they've seen the work that you put into what you do. What do you think they're observing?
Oh my God, if my mom was here, she'd be like,
She
she's a
probably will
fucking
be
crazy.
shortly.
She's actually playing dominoes with my grandmother right now. I wish she was here. But they see I don't mean to sound like, oh, I'm an artist, tortured artist, but they see like a tortured artist sometimes, just like constantly questioning like, okay, am I doing the right thing? Am I okay, I'm stressed out today, but then all of a sudden like 2 hours later I'm on a high 10, and my mom is like, "You're stressed me out." In the best way. She's not people always think that she's mean to me, but it's just our relationship. We just fuck around with each other all the time. And she's like, "You just hit me. You hit me in the morning with some stress, and then you hit me in the afternoon with the fucking Lil John and Lil Wayne DM, and then you hit me at night with some crazy fart song. Like, what the fuck? Your brain is so crazy." But what they've seen is really just my dreams coming true, literally. And it's been really cool for my mom and my dad to see that because I've always talked about being on stage and being in the limelight. Not necessarily famous, but I always knew I had the potential to do that. And for my dad to who's very straightforward to like be watching my videos like it's like millions of views. He's just like, what? you're
Yeah,
you're still living at our house. Like what? How
yeah,
is this relating? And it's just
yeah.
crazy.
I get that. And thank goodness that we've had this. And you would put this down to, I mean, Instagram, I guess some social media, you put it down to that. Do you do live stuff?
I do live shows. I'm just gonna start doing live shows, especially this summer. I'm really
Right,
excited. But
right,
it was it was weird. I haven't done quite a bit. I used to play constantly, like gigging all the time, and I got really burnt out from it. And so for the last about like 3, almost 4 years, I kind of leaned back, and that's when all of this started happening. So
right.
I guess I needed to relax in order for all of this to happen. But now I'm ready to get back on stage and really show people what I got. And it's something I'm excited to start doing.
Yeah, and you've also lived a bit more life, right? And we're at a different time in history. I think people are having a different dialogue. We talked a lot about the relevant themes of today. Tell me about, because what I love is like you can rap like the best of them, like let's Lil Wayne, like all the rappers, like, and then you juxtapose that onto a nanny, like sort of a granny thing. And so I want to pick up on two things here. First, your obsession with skincare, and then the irony that the things that go viral are you looking like 80 years old and you know
Yep.
back in the day, this was a love song, and then you rip into some, motherfucking, tell me about that. How did that marriage happen? Have you always done that sort of contrast humor, I guess?
Honestly, it happened on by mistake. So I used the aged filter on TikTok, was horrified because, like you said, I am a skincare junkie. I use tretinoin. I stay out of the fucking sun. And so when I saw that aged filter, I was like, oh my God, like this is a nightmare. And then I started kind of using it a little bit more and a little bit more and just really looking at myself. I'm like, oh, I see my grandmother's.
Right.
Oh, I see parts of my dad. I see parts of my mom. I'm like, actually, this isn't so bad. And then one of my car karaoke's went viral. And one of the comments on TikTok was, oh my gosh, the nursing homes are going to be lit. And I was like, that's so funny. So I replied to that comment with me in the aged filter doing super bass. And that went fucking wild. And I'm like, okay, I got that niche. Let's go. And I started leaning into the granny way more. And it's really healed me in a lot of ways because I think every woman, they fear getting older, they fear that the mortality of it too. And I'm no longer afraid to see wrinkles on my face. Like I'm no longer afraid to get older because I know I'm going to be just as worthy then as I am now.
And you never lose that inner child. Like it's so funny. You think of the music that we're all brought up through the ages. We still go back to those times, probably when we were a teenager and music was hitting us the hardest. And, it was
Mhm.
defining moments, our first relationships and breakup, all the things, right? And banging parties with your mates. And it really takes you back. So just on that, and we're going to go back into the rappers in a minute. Of all the people in the world, this is question number one for you, living or dead, who would you love to party with?
Betty Davis.
Because,
Betty Davis, the funk singer.
right.
Okay. Because I don't, for your listeners, she sings Nasty Gal. She sings Dedicated to the Press, all of these fucking, she is such a bad bitch. And you never hear about her. Like she was a metal singer before metal was even a freaking thing. She was so cool and so unabashedly herself. And I listen to her music and it inspires me so much. I'm like, bitch, if like I can't keep my tongue in my mouth. Like she's just so wild. And so I would love to party with her. Transport me back into the 70s, bitch. I want to party with Betty Davis.
I love that. So tell me, who do you choose and why? When you riff a song or something like that, how do you do that?
Oh, for the rapping and
The
stuff?
rappers, yeah, because you get the hardcore choruses, right? Verses that are pretty explicit.
Usually. Honestly, it comes from I drive in the car a lot and relieve my brain with music. I discovered recently that I have an attentive ADHD, so my brain is constantly like "Brrr," like that. And so when at the end of the day, I just go out driving and I listen to music. And when I'm listening, I'm like, "Oh, I'll do that song." And then I'll turn on my camera, and that's when it usually happens. So I don't usually pre-plan it. It just I sometimes take requests from people, but it's really just from me.
That's great. And then what are some of the great comments that you've had? What are some of the, people are pretty funny. Like there's a whole, there's the huge thing right now of people laughing at the comments that people are doing, and that's become a whole bloody meme, hasn't it? What sort
Oh
of what
God.
comments do you love to get?
Oh, I love the comment sections. They're so funny. The nursing home's gonna be lit. This would take me out of a coma. All of these funny like references to the songs. I guess, God, I can't pick one really. I guess the ones that I really love are the ones that are like, wow, you performed so well, or you edited it this so well, because that's like the technical part of it, and I love when people like recognize that. But mostly it's just like, this was wild. You're crazy, like that type of thing.
I
I
love it.
want people to see the wildness of it.
Yeah, and it's funny when I watch you, you don't think of it because it's so surprising, but there's just years and decades of this is your art and your craft, and you've crafted it over years and years. And to be able to put it into a format, like you say, I've found a niche to really go after. I think of, Matt Rife and crowd work. I think of the girls over in LA, and that they've got their little sing-song dance, but people tend to narrow in on something that's very interesting, and then we expect it from you. And then it must get a little bit easier in some ways because you know what one of your things is anyway. You're also very generous in your sharing of tips, and we'll jump into that next. But then, you're also, gosh, I've got to keep this fresh. And was this as funny as the last one? Like, do you still run those stupid, voices through your head?
Sometimes, but honestly, the more that I don't pay attention to the numbers or comparing myself, the better I perform and the better it just is anyway. I really feel like, excuse me, I really feel like when you push post, the emotions that you're having at that time, if you're feeling that desperation, it's not going to translate well.
Right.
Like, when you push post, you just have to be like really surrender to that universe and really surrender and be like, oh, whatever happens with this. And usually every single time I have that energy, shit pops off, shit goes viral. And it's not about going viral really. It's about connecting with people and the community. Gosh, I forgot your question already because ADHD, remember?
Yeah, yeah. So did I. So did I. But that did poke me on another question. So you went to the supermarket yesterday, and what happened?
Oh, so I went to the supermarket and this sweet, sweet girl, I was in the freezer next to the peas, and this sweet girl just comes up to me and just hugs me. And she said, I watch your videos every day. I just had to come say hi. I send all of your videos to my husband, and here's the girl that I watch every day. And it was so sweet. And I've been getting that more and more and more. Every time I go out now, somebody recognizes me and comes up and says hi. And I always tell them like, yo, whenever you see me, like come up and say hey, because all I'm seeing is a number on the screen. I'm not seeing that face, and I love seeing faces. It matters so much to me.
I get that. And we talked a lot about breaking ceilings, actually, and relatability is one of your absolute superpowers, right? So tell me a little bit about, we had a great conversation around activism versus influencing versus, not necessarily standing on a soapbox. You're quite proud that you're a Dolly Parton of the industry. You're quite proud that you're sort of Switzerland. Tell me a little bit about that, because that also adds to your relatability. I don't know who you vote. I don't know what your views are around abortion. I don't know, all of those things. Tell me about that position that you perhaps protect or you choose to own.
I just think it's none of anybody's business. Like, what I believe is what I believe, and but my space is for everyone.
Yes.
And I tend to think, like, especially in the comedy space or really any space, when you put a belief or politics or whatever in front of what you're doing, it builds a wall. And I don't want there to be any walls with me. I love everyone. I love every fucking body. I just want to share my energy with everyone. So I don't want anybody to feel excluded. And also, that's why I just say like I'm Dolly Parton, I Dolly Parton this because she was so brilliant at being sweet, but also not taking sides. She was Switzerland, and or she is, and she's a perfect example of that.
I love that. Let's double back to broken bitches. And you've got some practices that help people to really raise their vibration. And I know that you're very, generous in sharing your tips. Could you share perhaps some of those with us?
Absolutely. Well, I have a free ebook, actually. It's called Broken Bitch's Guide to a Higher Vibe, where I share all of, or about 5 tips on how I went from broken bitch to high vibe babe, and I share my story a little bit too. Um, and in that ebook, I share links and playlists and all of the tips that I used when I was in a broken place to raise my vibration. But one of those things that I love to do is curating my vibe, curating the vibration of my home. So that tip is called become your own vibe curator. And what that means is, and I actually did a podcast episode on it recently, is when you wake up in the morning, you put on a YouTube ambiance video of like the mountains or wherever you want to go. Sometimes it's Italy for me. I love Italy.
I love Italy.
And then I just romanticize my morning. You know, I open my windows, and even if my mom is talking loudly on the phone, or even if there's chaos going on in the house, like I still just ease into myself, and I just curate the vibe. I light my candles. I plate my food. I make sure that everything is kind of bougie. I like being bougie. I
Yeah,
like treating myself well.
Monaco, baby. Yes.
Monaco, baby. Um, but yeah, I want people to understand, like, treating yourself well isn't something that you feel should feel selfish about, especially if you're a woman with like kids or a husband or whatever. Like, take the time to curate your vibe, you know? And once you do that, you set the vibration of your entire home when you do that. And I think it's just so important. That's my biggest tip.
I love it. I think that's great. So, question number two, if you could go back and change one thing in your life, what would that be?
I would tell my younger self to do tretinoin immediately. Put tretinoin on and stay out of the fucking sun. But other than that, I wouldn't change a thing. Not one thing. I needed to go through the things I needed to go through to learn what I needed to learn to be talking to you today. And to be talking to my community now. And so I'm grateful for every struggle, every mistake. I'm grateful for all of them. So I wouldn't change a damn motherfucking thing.
I love that answer. And then, are you a planned person? Is there a logical next step for you, or are you literally letting it unfold like a meditation?
I'm letting it unfold. I think that I'm going to be very surprised with how my career goes. I've always kind of felt that, and nothing has ever gone the way I've planned it, ever. And I don't think this is any different. So I surrender to whatever the universe has to show me. And when I do that, the things that are meant for me come to me very easily. And so that's another thing that I try to teach people too.
I love that. I know that you're coming to LA soon. I know that you're catching up with your new agent soon. Is there any celebrity over here that you're just going to lose your ish over?
Oh my gosh. Dude. Actually, you know what? If I ever saw Jason Momoa, I'd probably freak the fuck out. I love him so much. I'd be like, "Can you're the only person that I'd probably want your babies, you know? Like I don't want kids, but maybe for you."
Okay, there's a
Um
few issues with that, but anyway.
but honestly, I've met a lot of celebrities in my life, especially in Nashville and stuff, and they're just normal people. I love all of them. I met Keith Urban actually once. A yogurt machine actually exploded on him when I was working there, and he gave me a $25 tip. And he said, it's okay, girl, it's okay, don't
Oh,
worry."
excellent. Imagine if you'd actually served him well, you could have retired. No,
Hey,
actually,
I think Nicole Kidman would have kicked my ass. So,
I'm sure she would have, but she's busy filming for AMC theatres. I just saw that he's actually touring. I just drove my son to soccer yesterday. I saw Keith Urban is playing somewhere soon. So
oh,
relevant.
and he is so hot in person too,
Yeah.
like exactly what you'd expect. So such a sweet, sweet man too. Very sweet.
Oh, that's great. Question number three. What is a secret that you have never told anyone?
Well, I guess I'm gonna tell it on a podcast. One thing that I used to do that I think served me very well as an adult, but I kept it a very deep, dark secret for a very long time, is I would go in my room, lock my door, and I would act out scenes of movies like by myself in the mirror. and I would like cry in the mirror. And I would like make out with my mirror. Like everybody I think does that at least, but my first kiss was with myself in my mirror, really. But I was such a dramatic child and I had so much like creation in me, so I would act out stories in my head. And one time my mom walked in on me and it was so embarrassing. I but that's that's a secret. There you go. So
I
if you have weird kids, just let them be weird.
Yeah, yeah. And it's embracing that weirdness, isn't it? Because the last thing we want to be is the same. And like you've said, if we're living in this little box, I mean, there's machines that can do that better, but you want to get out of that, and that is where the joy is. And it's such a challenge, isn't it? I mean, are you feeling like, I mean, everyone's talking about the mental health challenge. I come from the fitness industry primarily, and mental health overtook physical health, through the pandemic and certainly out the other side. Do you feel that in Florida? Because I think humor has such a disarming and wonderful effect on people. It sort of is helpful in removing barriers. Sure, it can be a little bit explosive for other people, depending on the humor. But do you feel that you're a part of that solution of the mental health crisis that we're under?
I'm just here to lift vibes, man.
Yeah,
I, and that's another label too that I'm glad that I help people's mental health. A lot of people have told me that, and I'm so thankful. I feel really grateful for that. But I wouldn't label myself as someone that's leading that charge, I think mental health is such a personal thing,
yes.
and I'm not a psychologist. I'm not no I ain't no doctor, girl. Like all I can tell you is what made me feel better. And so I just want to make content and create things that lift people's vibes. So if that creates good mental health, then I'm all here for it.
Yeah, I think that's what I love most about you. And I think that that comes from the relatability thing, is that it just basically dissolves like all the labels and the things and whether it's politics and thoughts and names and numbers and all of these things, it just kind of dissolves. And I think, and that really is just sort of a heartfelt connection, really, isn't it? And I always feel that through you in the screen. And I think that's a difficult thing. And I think acting things out, I mean, you're just trying to get feedback. Am I getting through? Am I actually making a person feel something, or am I actually expressing myself in its purest form? And I think that's an amazing skill that you have. So I love that. So
Thank you.
we are going to move into the rapid fire questions, and so you're just going to give a short, sharp answer. I'm sure you'll be great. So number one, karaoke in your underwear or dancing wildly in a public mall.
God, I would do both in a second. Probably karaoke in my underwear.
I'm probably asking the wrong person, who's lived in Nashville and done like over gigged and, been to hell and back. Um, Second question, moonlight skinny dip with a stranger or a secret rendezvous with an ex?
Ooh, a moonlit skinny dip with a stranger.
Something new, nice.
Keeping it spicy, keep new.
Like it. Number three, stay in one place your whole life, could be your parents' place in Florida, or traveling continuously and never settling down.
Mm. Can I just pick like staying in one place but traveling when I want? Because either one sounds awful. Because I love being at my house, but I love traveling so much. So I would need a best of both worlds. I can't pick that one.
I love it. Number four, the ability to read minds or travel through time.
Travel through time.
Right. Love it. And then number five, crazy night on tequila or unforgettable trip on shrooms.
Oh my God, shrooms. I love shrooms. Tequila and I do not mix, but me and Shroomy be roomies. Like we love each other. I saw Jesus on shrooms actually.
Was he a white heterosexual guy? What was he?
Oh my God. Well, he was an energy. No, I literally tell this story to people and I'm like, this is the reason why I have like an undeniable faith was my first trip on shrooms. I saw Jesus. He held me and called me his daughter, and I sobbed. It was nuts. But I'm not even joking. Like I don't even care
Right.
if people think I'm
That's well,
crazy.
tell us a bit more
Uh,
about that. Like, was it just,
yeah.
yeah, just tell us a bit more about it. Unpack that for me, please.
Well, I was in Gatlinburg actually in in Tennessee, and we were in this beautiful condo, and my friend had shrooms. We took them, and it was my first trip ever. And all of a sudden, I just felt this like beautiful, unconditional love. And it came out of nowhere. And I was like, okay. And then the more I was trying to fall asleep and I kind of kept waking up and I saw this figure coming toward me and he like held me. It's so weird. It's so weird to talk about, but like in my mind it was so palpable and real, and I felt his arms and he held me and he I just knew he was Jesus. And it was like, okay, I was going through a really hard time at the time too. I was really confused. I was wondering if I should leave my marriage or not, and it was just awful, awful, tumultuous time. And I just knew after that experience, I was like, I'm going to be okay no matter what, because I felt this unconditional love from the universe, from Jesus, whatever it was. I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be okay. And I remember this is a weird secret that I've never told anybody. But right after that, I got up and went to the bathroom to like wipe my tears. And all of a sudden, I felt like all of this like negative energy around me, but it was like I was protected and I kept hearing like weird little like taunting almost. And I remember standing in the middle of the living room and my ex was there. And I was like, you guys are so mad that you can't get to me because I have the love of Jesus. My ex was like, you're scaring me. You're scaring me. I'm like, bro, this is the best shit ever. I'm good for the rest of my life. Like, I'm good. And ever since then, I've felt so protected. So if you really want to know me, there you go. I'm a weird
Well,
witchy
I thank
bitch.
you for sharing that with us. And I presume after that everything changed, did it?
Everything shifted. I think about three months after that was when I decided to leave my marriage and start my new life. And it was the hardest time of it was the most heartbreaking and hardest time of my life. But I knew internally, even delivering bread in that van, I was like, I'm gonna be okay. Like I know it. I felt it.
Had you been, just out of interest, had you been previously religious in any way?
I grew up Catholic,
Right.
but when you're Catholic, like, you don't really know
The Catholic girls are usually the
what.
worst.
The Catholic girls are usually the worst, and also the Catholic guilt. We're guilty motherfuckers over here. But yeah, the Catholic religion doesn't really explain very much. Like I never really understood it. So I'm not a religious person. I'm deeply spiritual, and I just have my own relationship with it. But
Yeah,
yeah.
and energy. I mean, you deal in energy and that
Mhm.
transfer and positive vibes and things like that. So give us another tip. Give us another tip from bitches, broken bitches.
Okay, so another tip too is I listen to binaural beats. I listen to frequency music.
Yes.
So I have in my ebook I have like a little guide of the hertz and what you should listen to for each ailment or whatever. But I mean, ever since I started listening to frequency music and binaural beats, things kind of started like lifting in my life. There is this there's this one that's called Divine Feminine or Divine Beauty Subliminal,
Yes.
and I attached it in my ebook. And every time I listen to that, like I feel like such a hot bitch after. I don't know what magic she puts in that shit, but it was good. But also frequency music for manifesting at like a nine, I think it's 963 hertz. But if you start listening to that frequency music, it lifts you up. It connects you to spirit, connects you to the universe, and you'll be able to kind of fast track your manifestation process.
So you mentioned you've got a million things going through your mind at one time. Do you feel like things like the music, things like the little Jesus, story and things like that, do you think they got your voice out of the way? Or do you think they came into you? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, is it a reorganization of what's going on in your brain, or do you think it's coming in? Like, do you have a feeling around that?
It's kind of both,
Right,
actually.
right.
It's kind of both. When I do the podcast, for example, and I do it on topics, those are the topics that I need to work on myself as well. And so and I've learned so much through my journey and stuff, and that's why it's called Broken Bitches Guide, because it's like, hey, I'm technically the guide, but I'm also broken too. Let's kind of do this journey together, bitch. But yeah, it's inspired when I talk about topics, it inspires me. But then I feel like a lot of things are channeled through me too. I think a lot of artists feel like that too. A lot of musicians, when people write songs, they're like, it didn't come from me. It just kind of came out in 10 minutes. And that happens a lot, even with my fart songs.
Now, you said to me that you hopefully you don't have any regrets in what you say, but you said you might regret some fart jokes. Please explain.
Hey, you know what? I love a good fart joke. The only thing that I regret though is that people think that they can fart in front of me. I'd rather you not. Like I'm good. I'm good. Like I'd rather hear somebody fart that I know. You know what I mean? Like don't rip ass in front of me. Like I'm a lady still. But that's probably what I regret. Making people believe that I you can rip ass in front of me and be like it'd be funny. Sometimes it is, and especially if
Sometimes
it's
it
my
is not.
dad.
Oh, that's hilarious. So, so let's give some shameless plugs. So, where can we find you? What are you up to? What would you love people to sort of check out?
Awesome. Well, I encourage everyone who is interested in my content to sign up for my email list. I will give that link to you. And I have a lot of cool projects coming out in a lot of different areas. I'm working on some music. I'm working on a manifestation course that will be out in the next couple of months. And just a lot of cool things. But you can follow Broken Bitches Guide on Instagram and at Mandy Brooke Official for all of your comedy and laughs. I post about 3 to 4 times a week at 9:30 in the morning. So it's the first thing you'll see when you wake up. And mandybrook.com is my website if you want to connect with me there. And yeah, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and hopefully Snapchat. I need to hire somebody to help me with
Yeah,
Snapchat.
yeah,
It's a little
yeah.
bit interesting.
I hear you. And can people hire you in any way? I know that you're preparing to do some live work. Is that part of what you do, or you'll probably just go on the road and control your own show?
I think I'm going to control my own show, but people are more than welcome to hire me too. I love performing at festivals and all types of stuff. So I'm always for that. But there's a contact sheet on mandybrook.com that I take inquiries as well.
Okay, that's great. And then could you give me a question that I could perhaps ask our next guest?
Okay. Depending on their sexual preference, who who would you go gay for?
I love it.
I ask my friends this all the time, and you can tell so much by their answer too. It's so funny. But for me, it would be Kristen Stewart. I think she's so cool.
Yeah, she's
She's
cool.
such a bad bitch. I really like her.
Hopefully she'll receive that message through this podcast. Well, look, that's great. Is there anything else that we've missed out? Are there any shameless plugs? Is there anything that's really exciting you in your life right now that's inspiring you?
Gosh, look up Betty Davis if you haven't already. If you're listening to this, her music inspires me constantly. And also, I have a playlist on Spotify called Broken Bitches Guide to a Higher Vibe, which I listen to every single day. It's full of inspiring cinematic music that will just make you feel like you are living in a movie for yourself. And that's another tip for manifesting is like, yeah, pretend like you're in a fucking movie, bitch. Because when you do that,
Wow.
just shit opens up.
You are. Well, I would like to raise a glass for you. Keep doing the great work that you are doing. I absolutely adore your work and look forward to seeing you in LA with your agent and wish you all the best. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow morning. You wake me up every morning. You're part of raising my vibration for the day. So thank you for all you do. A true troublemaker. Rock the year.
Thank you so much, Emma. It was a pleasure.
I hope you took a trouble tip from this episode. If so, ring the bell, like it, follow it, and share it. But most importantly, put the lessons into action in your life, in what you do. Remember, you are the beacon of hope. You are somebody's hero. So ignite that spark within, fly in the face of normality. put your spin on things, follow the call of the disco ball, and solve new problems. I love you. Now go stir up some trouble.